quads and all.
We had the Big Show. Was it the Big Show who
Paul
played
White.
in Wichita
Yeah,
State?
Paul White.
And he had the Xavier McDaniel story. And he said they had a mural of Xavier McDaniel punching a fan from Kansas.
Yeah.
Gosh, we had some good dudes up.
I will say this, when Diesel was on his run in like 94, 95, when he would take the singlet off and he'd have like the silver chaps, that was an era. The super power bomb that he used to do, I forget what it was called. Dude, God, he was awesome.
It's all these things on this day in WWE, and it's just unbelievable.
These were the days.
These were the days. They had Bobby the Brain Heenan. He was with Gorilla Monsoon. They were breaking down something.
Monsoon.
Now
that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Oh, man.
Oh, my Undertaker.
Do you have the full Xavier McDaniel chop?
I just have that one. I could probably go back and find it.
You were out that day.
Somebody's jaw.
You were out that day. Layford was scared for his life. He thought his career was over. Because like he started building up, right? He started off slow.
Yeah.
And like it was like a wrestling promo. He goes, I told somebody, get your ass up. And I was sipping water. I was like, okay. And I looked around. I was like, okay, he's fine.
You still haven't seen that wrestling doc that I asked you to watch, did you?
Which one?
It's not a doc. It's got the guy from The Bear in it, and it's got.
No, I have not watched.
You got to watch it. I forget what it's called. It's about this family and how they're cursed. It is an incredible show.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
Even if you don't like wrestling.
People were saying The Godfather would not be able to be part of, and I just saw that promo with The Undertaker.
The Blank Train? Remember he used to come out?
Well, no, The Undertaker, great one. I got one of these, people, one of these
Derek
ladies.
McKee got hit in Seattle, and I was livid. It was Mahorn hit him, and I mean, he hit him hard. And I told Derek, get your ass up. And I said, Nate, call the same play. And the officials knew I was mad. And he tried to come in. I said, you guys didn't do nothing. And I said, call that same play. And I promise you, any of these touch Derek McKee, I'm going to break somebody's jaw.
Dude.
Did you hear me start laughing?
Yes.
He went back to that moment like it was yesterday.
He could have been a WWE wrestler.
He could have.
I think George Kittle could be too.
No doubt. George Kittle will be one day.
He was talking about how they had a wrestling ring in the backyard. Did you listen to that part?
I did.
And then Claire's like, we kind of had to get rid of it because he was getting a little too serious.
Yeah, I know he was.
And McAfee obbly does it too. He's done a great job with it. No, he does.
He does do a great job with it.
I know what you feel about him as a sports analyst. But he's very good at the showmanship.
He's really good on College Game Day.
By the way, Xavier McDaniel should get into war for we had to dump and we couldn't bring him back on for 7 minutes. We had to double dump him. And then remember he told us a story. He was fighting Dale Ellis with his baby in his hand, and he told somebody hold my baby or I'm gonna sock you up. Remember that? Dude was
that was after the Draymond Jordan pool punch. I think. Yeah.
He was like, I was fighting somebody with a baby in my head. Then he told somebody to hold his baby, and if you don't hold my baby, I'm gonna knock you out. Unbelievable.
So, hashtag random in the words of Guru as I basically impersonate his. No. Yeah. This is important. We're up the river, and somehow the name Matt Geiger got brought up.
Oh, my God.
And so then
Game one.
Porter and I went down the rabbit hole of going on YouTube. Matt Geiger and Shaq had a feud that lasted at least 6 or 7 years. And there were a couple of swings by Shaq on Matt Geiger. He would have killed him. Yeah. No, I'm not joking. Someone accidentally pushed him or hit him from behind. He thought it was Geiger. He went at him and took a swing on him. You want to talk about a goon from a lost era? Matt Geiger. Just look it up, folks.
But you know what, though? Shaq. I thought you were going to go Shaq because Shaq was a borderline goon.
Well, he was getting abused.
And he was a bully.
Watching these old videos, he was getting
abused. He was getting beat up, but when he dunked on Chris Dudley, because I'll never forget watching that game on the NBA and NBC where he dunks on him with 2 hands, throws his midsection in his face, and it shoves him and looks at him. It was like the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen on the basketball court. And the way he swung at Charles Barkley.
Well, in this video that I showed,
Barkley's head off.
I think Geiger, I don't know if he was with the Heat. I'm not sure what team he was with. Geiger and Oakley are on the same team.
Yes.
And Shaq takes this wild swing and misses, thankfully. Yeah. He honest to God, could have killed someone because he swung at him from behind him. I mean, Brad Miller. I forget who it was. And all of a sudden, Oakley just tackles Shaq. Yeah. Look up video. It's one of the most incredible. I'm thinking to myself, if this happened in the modern NBA, they'd all be suspended for the year.
Well, just look at Barkley. When Barkley threw the ball at him, and Shaq threw a right hand, that would have ended Barkley's life. I mean, thank God Barkley ducked. I mean, Shaq was a borderline goon, too.
Well, he was getting hacked, though.
But then Matt Geiger game one, it all makes sense. NBA Finals.
I'm telling you.
He had a great game.
Just Google on YouTube or whatever, YouTube, Geiger, Shaq, and like 5 or 6 different videos come up.
There was a lot of goons in that era. The Davis brothers.
Vince Coleman?
The Davis brothers.
The Davis brothers, absolutely. Dale and Antonio, even though they weren't brothers.
By the way, Antonio, low-key roaster.
Oh, I think people are saying it was the Sixers series. It might have been the finals. Game 1 or game 2 with Geiger.
Geiger, he lit it up.
Dude,
he lit it up. He hit the mid-range jumper at the mid-range jumper at the mid-range jumper.
They physically went at it, and they were hacking the crud out of Shaq in that entire one. It's just insane.
YouTube right now. Shaq versus Ostertag.
It's Shaq versus Ostertag. That's a great one. That's a great one. I'm telling you, though, Geiger was one of those OG goons I forgot about.
Oh, man.
Don't mess with Geiger.
I would say
he looks like a Hell's Angel.
I would say don't mess with Shaq.
Well, that too. I mean, that's obvious.
Shaq tried to knock dudes out left and right, but I mean, the disrespect to Chris Dudley, poor Chris Dudley, Spadoni, I'm not kidding. That was a Saturday afternoon showcase game, NBA and NBC at the Great Western Forum, the Fabulous Forum, and he literally dunks on him and shoves him.
We've forgotten about that era and how physical it was. Yes. And I'm telling you, I actually miss that era.
I do miss that era. But that's why when Draper goes off talking about this is bully ball, this ain't real NBA basketball, I know you got this. Our boy Draper, remember he got mad
because you watch Ben Wallace?
Yes, no, but that era, the Davis brothers, Rick Smits, the Ducking Dutchman, they were physical. The Magic were physical.
Brian
the New York
Grant
Knicks
from the Trailblazers was like, his whole game was physicality.
Right, it was all about, it was goon ball. I kind of miss it too.
The NBA has a problem right now.
Do you have that full drop? Hold on. Jay, let's laugh at Draper a little bit.
God.
Listen to Kyle Draper, who grew up in that era of physicality.
The NBA has a problem right now, ladies and gentlemen. And we had Tim Kempton on the radio today. The physicality has gotten out of control. It is not basketball that's being played right now in the NBA. It is bully ball out there. The NBA has gone too far the other way. Like, this is not fun to watch. Tim Kempton said it. And this is a guy that played in the 90s, played Bad Boys Pistons and all that. And for what I saw out there tonight, and it's not against Sacramento, it's not against Phoenix, it's against both teams, the NBA has to clean that up. I think there's too much physicality out there. And then to adjust to it middle of the season, I just don't like this brand of NBA basketball. It is not enjoyable to watch because so many times guys are getting fouled, they're throwing their hands up, rightfully so, and these refs are swallowing the whistle. They're so-called letting the players decide on the floor. A foul is a foul is a foul. Make the calls, officials. And this is not about Kings didn't get the whistle. That's not basketball out there, guys.
So could you imagine
Tim Kempton,
I don't even know. I had to Google it.
We had Tim Kempton on the radio, and even Tim Kempton, who played basketball.
Karen Draper over there. I mean, geez Louise. Like, seriously, could you imagine Sabonis trying to throw one of his little elbows into Shaq? Like, when Shaq was talking to Draymond on that pod, when Draymond was like, oh, I'd do this, and then I'd do that. It's like, Dray... Again, I want you to go back and look at Matt Geiger. He had to be 7'2", 300, 20, 330? Go back and look. The guy looks humongous. He's standing next to Shaq, who's one of the largest human beings you've ever seen in your life, and Geiger's bigger than him. Geiger was human, and he was literally a goon. Like, that's what his whole game was predicated. Like, yeah, I'm going to try to just get Shaq rattled here.
Yeah, it did not work. It did not work. Shaq would throw up 40 and 20, and he would miss 20 free throws in the same game by getting hacked. Remember, they had to hack a Shaq. They made the hack a Shaq where they would just bloody his arms. And even Willie tells me to this day, it's like, dude, Shaq could have went to the free throw line every single possession.
We haven't even talked about the most jacked guy of the 80s and 90s. Kevin Willis. The guy looked like he'd been doing steroids since he was 4. Do you remember? Look at his shoulders. Just Google Kevin Willis.
He played his 40s. He had the same body from the age of 21 to the age of 42. And he finally get his championship ring. Otis Stort with the Houston Rockets.
Hey, Otis Stort's a great name. Look at this video. I'm looking at a picture of 40-something-year-old Kevin Willis. The guy looks like a bodybuilder.
Brought to you by Jax. He's jacked up.
His neck was humongous. Kevin Willis was one of the strongest guys. We don't even talk about him anymore.
Think about Pat Riley. The first day training camp, Xavier McDaniel and Anthony Mason got into a fight, and Pat Riley's like, cool, let's fight. It's the first day training camp. I'm cool with this. So on that team with the New York Knicks, we haven't brought up the New York Knicks. Ewing, who was a goon, who could be a goon. And then you had Oakley, Xavier McDaniel, and Anthony Mason on the same team. And oh, by the way, in the backcourt, you had Derek Harper, who would hack the hell out of point guards. That was all 90s basketball. We absolutely loved it.
How do I turn this around? I'm going to show you. This is Kevin Willis on the Spurs in 2003.
With veins
He
popping
looks
out
like he could
everywhere.
play DN on the Niners. What? Bonte, the veins are popping. He looks jacked out of his mind.
Oh, man.
The dude has softballs in his arms. Like, those are huge.
Have you ever heard the name Kevin Willis?
No, this is a new name for me. I'm looking at him right now.
He was a stud.
Not an
7
all-timer,
feet tall and that jacked.
Alonzo Mourning, stud. I mean,
He played 23 years in the
NBA.
NBA.
And he finally got a ring. I think he got a ring his last year.
Yeah,
his last year he got an NBA championship.
The way we talk about PJ Brown at the end, like PJ's just a winner. Like that was Kevin Willis at the end. Like he's a winner and he's just gonna grind. He's gonna battle for rebounds.
Have we not brought up Dennis Rodman?
Well, I mean, Rodman's in his own category.
I know we don't like to mention his name, Karl Malone. But he was a goon. As I said, Thomas.
Karl Malone was out of his mind.
Karl Malone threw an elbow to Isaiah Thomas, had a bleeding from his temple.
This is going to be
a brawl.
I know he's a bad person, but if I was like in the woods, Karl Malone would be one of the people I would want guiding me out of the woods. Right? I'm not joking.
Dude,
am I wrong?
I mean, just look at the way they asked him, what did you think about Michael Jordan? And he's on the last dance, talking smoking a stogie. He's Michael Jordan. It's Michael Jordan. It's like, you don't want to mess with dudes like that. You know what I'm saying?
And my favorite was when, like, David Stern was like, nah, we don't need to test for steroids because, in our league, it doesn't help. But I'm like, David, in the Olympics, jumpers, lifters, runners, those are the ones getting popped. You're telling me your league doesn't need... You're telling me Rodney Rogers wasn't on roids? You're telling me Anthony Mason wasn't on roids?
No, they were just built different.
Come on,
No.
Use steroids.
No,
period.
Rest in peace, Anthony Mason. There's some dudes on the block in the hood that got jailhouse.
I agree with
they
that.
have jailhouse strength. They have jailhouse strength.
There was an era of guys that just looked different.
Anthony Mason's the type of dude who would just walk into your garage. Oh, you got 3 plates on each side. Let me get a lift in. It's like, dude, we're having a barbecue. What do you mean you want to lift?
Like Tyson out of prison, where it's just different kind of jacked.
Yeah, I mean, no,
Anthony Mason
prison strength
was one of my favorite players. He was the original point forward of our era, and I loved him. Remember him?
God, yes, I do.
I loved Anthony.
I do.
Anthony Mason was nice.
Antoine Carr.
Antoine Carr was another one. If you say Antoine Carr, I close my eyes and say Blue Edwards.
Well, I'd close my eyes and say Shades indoors, playing basketball.
Look at you.
Come on now.
Yeah, but I just the name recognition of teammates, you know?
I mean, you had goons everywhere.
I mean,
John Stockton wasn't good at the point guard spot. You had to be cut from a different cloth to play that era of basketball.
No question.
And so now all of a sudden, referee's not calling fouls. Good. Let the players who take the game. Let's play a little physical. All this little, I can't breathe on you. That's a foul. No. The hell with that.
I need to see a highlight package at the break. Yao Ming versus Shaq, and how Shaq literally took it out on him. He took it out. It was, wow.
Dude, Shaq had so many posterized
where he like and would body you as he's hanging on the rim.
The one-hand dunks with his tongue out, just dunking all over you, getting fouled. All right, we'll get to Esteban in Oakland on the other side. Hey, Ty Esteban, we'll get back to basketball. We just nailed in the segment, but we had a lot of fun.